Alrighty guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our spider. So I just want to point out that I'm not going to be showing you every single step in the process of making your spider, but I just kind of wanted to go through the parts that could be the most confusing for some crocheters and kind of work through those with you so that you can have a visual aid to go along with the written pattern. Of course, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am more than happy to help you in any way that I can. And lastly, I do apologize for any shadows, but I'm just kind of recording this when and where I can, so I think you'll still be able to focus on my hands just fine, right? Alrighty, so we're going to start with crocheting one leg. Now, the way this works is we will crochet 8 little tubes just like this, and then we will make 2 sets of 4 by attaching them like so. So this is super simple, but again, I just wanted to provide a visual aid to go along with the written pattern. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You're going to start off by making a magic ring and single crocheting 5 into that ring. Now, if you would prefer to not do a magic ring, you can simply chain 2 and then do all of these stitches into that first chain, or you can chain 3, slip stitch to form a circle, and single crochet 5 into that ring. Whichever method that you want to do is perfectly fine. It will totally work for this pattern. So again, I'm going to make a magic ring like so, and I'm going to single crochet 5 into this ring. Okay, now I'm going to pull this tail to close my ring and start working around the circle. So we're going to work 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Don't worry if it's a little bit tight, it's just because it's that very first single crochet. I'm going to shove my hook in there eventually. There we go. I am actually going to crochet over my tail as well so that I can go ahead and weave it in. All I'm going to do is I have inserted my hook into this first stitch. Now I'm just going to lay my tail over the hook as well and crochet as normal. I'm going to do that once more. Insert my hook into the next stitch, lay my tail over my hook as well, and single crochet. Now I'm just going to trim that tail. And all that does is it makes us not have to worry about that tail anymore. And now we can move on. Okay, so we have done 2 stitches of the first round. Let me fix my yarn here. And now we are going to single crochet around the rest of the stitches. And we should still have 5. Alrighty, and that is the complete of round 2. Now all we are going to do is single crochet in each stitch around until we have 14 total rounds. So I'm going to do this and then I will meet you back at the end. Okay, so I have finished row 14, And now I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch, cut my yarn, and finish off this leg. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and kind of weave in this end just so that it's not in my way later. I highly recommend weaving in your ends as you go with this project because it's going to allow you to focus on one thing at a time instead of being confused by all of the ends on the various pieces. All I'm going to do to weave in my end is simply pull it through the center of the leg and then pull it out through a random stitch. Because this is amigurumi, we don't have to worry about weaving it in too well, because it's going to be encased into the stuffy. Okay, now the next step is to join 4 of the legs together. Now, this is really simple, but I can understand how sometimes written instructions can be a tad bit confusing just because it's in word form, not picture form. And so I wanted to provide this little aid for you guys. Alrighty, so all we're going to do is take one of our legs, insert our hook into any stitch, and attach our yarn like so. Okay, now we are going to single crochet across 3 stitches. So we're going to single crochet into that same stitch that we joined to, the stitch next to it, and then the stitch after that. Okay, now we're going to pull up our next leg, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to insert our hook into any stitch and work a single crochet, and then work a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Bring up the next leg, insert your hook into any stitch, single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Oh, I did a slip stitch there. And in the next stitch, possibly. There we go. Okay, and we're going to do that once more. Bring up the next leg and single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Okay, and now we are going to turn and work across the back side of this piece. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to single crochet in 3 stitches across each leg. However, if you recall from the legs, we know that there wasn't 6 stitches around, there was 5. By single crocheting in 3 stitches, we are ensuring that there's not going to be any holes in between each leg. So we're actually going to place a single crochet in 1 stitch that we had already placed a single crochet. Let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to single crochet the next stitch on this same leg, single crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet in this stitch. Now you can either place your hook either in the slip stitch where you joined and finished off, or in a stitch where you have already worked. It really doesn't matter, just make sure that you get that 3rd stitch in. So I'm going to place it right here, like so. Now I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to insert my hook into 1 stitch on the next leg, another stitch, and then a 3rd stitch. And again, 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3. And last time, 1, oh, lost that one, 2, and 3. There we go. Now you should have 24 stitches across this piece. And now we're just going to slip stitch into that very first single crochet that we did. Again, it is okay if it's a little bit tight. Slip stitch and finish off. There we go. So that is our leg portions. So we have these 2 pieces that are going to be the legs of our spider. Now the last thing you want to do for these legs is to insert our pipe cleaners. To do that, we're going to grab 2 pipe cleaners. Honestly, ideally they wouldn't be sparkly, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to be encased. I would recommend choosing a color that kind of matches the color of your yarn, but obviously I'm not really following that rule, so this is just what I had on hand and it works just fine. I'm going to fold 1 pipe cleaner in half, like this, and then I'm going to cut it. Now I'm going to take 1/2 of that and fold it just a little bit on the end, just to kind of make that point a little bit safer. And then I'm going to insert it into one of the legs. Once you feel it hit the bottom, so mine has now hit the bottom, I'm going to cut this excess off, just like this. And I'm going to do that for all 4 of my legs. And cut. Now I'm going to fold this second one in half, cut it, and there we go. There really is not a reason to stuff these legs because it's such a small circumference. However, if you feel that your legs have a little bit too much room, you can stuff them. It's really completely up to you. Okay, so that is our 2 leg portions now finished. Now I'm going to move on off camera to work the body all the way until I reach row 13, and that is where we are going to join these legs to our body. So if you are kind of following along with me as you make this spider, go ahead and start the body instructions following the pattern. It's very simple, and work all the way up until round 13. Once you reach round 13, come back and join me and we will work that round together. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have worked all the way to row 13. So we have done all of our increases for the body and we have done 4 plain single crochet rows. And now we are going to attach our leg portions. So the first thing we're going to do is single crochet in the first 12 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If it helps you, you can place a marker on the first stitch just so you know where your beginning of round is. Now to start attaching our legs, we are simply going to hold the leg pointed down. We're going to insert our hook into the first stitch and that corresponding stitch on the other layer of the leg. So we are going through both layers. We're attaching this opening to where it is closed. And after we insert it into those 2 layers, we are going to then insert our hook into the next stitch on the body. So I have my original loop on my hook. I have the first stitch of the first layer of the leg portion, the first stitch of the second layer of the leg portion, and my next stitch on the body. Now, I realize this is a full hook, and I realize that this can be a little bit confusing, but trust me, just work through it stitch by stitch, and I know you can do it. So, after we have inserted our hook into all of these layers, we are simply going to yarn over and work a standard crochet. Simply pull through all of those layers, pulling up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Now we're going to do that again in each of the next 12 stitches. Insert our hook into the next 2 layers of the leg, into the next stitch on the body, yarn over, pull through, and pull up a loop, and pull through 2 loops. We're going to do that all the way down until we have worked all of these stitches on the leg. Okay, so I have worked all the way across all 4 legs. I have worked 12 stitches, so be sure to count that you have done 12 stitches. And now I'm going to single crochet in the next 12 stitches of the body. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now you just repeat those same steps that we did for the first leg portion for the second leg portion. So insert your hook into the first 2 stitches on the leg and the next stitch on the body. Yarn over and make a single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across. Okay, there we go. So now I have completed row 13. I have the 12 stitches for my front and back, and I have the 12 stitches for each leg portion, totaling 48 stitches. Now all you have to do is finish crocheting the body following rounds 14 until you finish it. Be sure to stuff your spider as you go and look at the pattern as to where you should put your safety eyes. You don't want to forget doing that because you won't be able to put the backs on if you sew up your spider without placing them. So I hope this was helpful for you. Again, I know that I didn't work through every single step, but the most complicated portion of this pattern is indeed the leg portion and attaching those legs to the body. But I hope that it makes sense, and I hope that it's simpler for you now. Of course, don't hesitate to reach out for me if you have any questions. You can find the link to the written pattern in the description box below, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. I hope this was helpful for you. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye!